everybody. This is Aisha, and this is Self-Care Basics. My name is Aisha Moore, and I am the founder of Self-Care by Aisha, a coaching and training service that works with healthcare leaders, people in nonprofits and government, really anyone in a leadership position who would like to focus on feeling better, managing their time better, and feeling less overwhelmed. And the way I do that is to help people work on self-care plans. So today I'm here to talk about the definition of self-care, because if we're talking about self-care basics, the most basic thing there is a definition. So let me just read it to you really quickly. Self-care is a set of personal practices that builds our resilience and supports us in feeling our best emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. The reason I came up with that definition is because there are so many misconceptions about self-care. So let me point out 5 things to you that I think are important about this definition. The first thing is self-care is personal. So you have to assess your life. So you have to look at what's going on, and then you make a plan based on that. You can't necessarily use someone else's plan. You can't use my plan. You can't use a plan that you read about in BuzzFeed or Huffington Post. You need to say, you know what? I'm this age, with this kind of job, with this kind of family, with this kind of resources, with this kind of stress, with this many volunteer commitments. You need to look at every single piece of your life, and then you put a self-care plan around that. So whether it is to stop doing certain things, do more of certain things, just have some little stress management practices, all of that, you need to look at yourself and make a self-care plan that is personal. Second thing, it's a daily practice. Self-care does not just happen on the weekends or once a quarter or at that yearly retreat you go to in the mountains. Self-care has to happen every day because guess what? Your life happens every day. You're alive every day. Things happen to you every day. So you need to do something every day. Now, it could be something little or it could be something big. It just really depends on what your life is. But the thing that you don't want to do is let stress, negativity, overwhelm build up. Because when it builds up, it will break you down. So what you're trying to do is make sure that it never builds up. You're trying to make sure that you practice something every day. And that leads me into number 3, which is the focus on resilience, right? So we want to make sure that we are able to bounce back. And we cannot bounce back if we're always off the charts busy, off the charts tired, off the charts stressed out. Because when that's something that you were not expecting, that you could not plan for comes, it's going to be a problem. But if you're practicing self-care every day, you can pause and say, okay, do I just need to do a little bit more of what I'm doing already? Because I do this every day. You could look at yourself and say, wow, 2 years ago that would have knocked me down, but guess what? I've been practicing self-care, so it's all good. Or do you say, you know what? I need to pull out my self-care plan and modify a little bit and figure out how do I deal with this particular thing on a long-term or short-term basis, right? But if you're not practicing self-care every day, it's hard to be resilient because you are just not going to be in a place or a mind frame that allows you to bounce back. You are going to fall down. You're going to have to take several seats, and I don't want that to happen to you. So let's talk about the next thing, number 4. That is, we want to focus on feeling good. So especially for those of us who are in healthcare, nonprofit, any sort of helping profession, and especially as a leader, you're going to get so much kudos, so many high fives because you are so busy. So you're at board meetings all the time, you're speaking engagements, you are just, managing a high-paced project, whatever it is. People are going to be like, wow, that's so great that you're doing all that stuff for other people. Or that's so great that you're serving on all of these boards. But guess what? If you go home and you're tired, you're angry because you're just like, man, I'm stressed out, then what does it matter what those people think? So not that kudos that you're giving. That's not the way you want to live, right? So you want to focus on feeling good. You don't want to focus on getting rewarded for deprivation. Let's put something in place that helps us feel good. So whether that means that you got to take some stuff off your plate, whatever it is, That's part of your self-care because you want to be feeling good. So let's go to point number 5. The last point I want to make is that self-care is for all areas of life. So sometimes I hear people talk about self-care and they talk about diet and exercise, or they come to me and they think the only thing I can work with them on is diet and exercise. So I wanted to clear that up. We can work on all kinds of things. Anything that is causing you to not feel good, right? Any of that stuff is that getting in the way of you being a really good leader, getting in the way of you serving people, getting in the way of you changing the world. So we can work on finances, personal relationships, romantic relationships. We can look at a whole nother career path for you that helps you do this. All those things. So self-care works in every area of your life. You name an area, I can tell you a self-care tip right then and there, right? So that's what it's about. All right, so let's read that definition one more time. Self-care is a set of personal practices that builds our resilience and supports us in feeling our best emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And the things we want to remember is that it's personal, it's a daily practice, you want to build resilience, you want to focus on feeling your best, and that self-care is for all areas of life. Got it? Okay. So where do you go from here? There's a couple of things you can do so we can stay in touch. First, social media. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook more than I am Twitter, but I post articles there. I post my own articles. These videos will go up. All the things that I'm reading and that I'm learning about self-care, I share those out all the time. The next thing you can do is sign up for my e-newsletter. So I will let you know when there's a new blog that's up. I'll let you know about any specials that I'm running, any challenges that I'm doing, because I love to run little challenges. All of that will come out in the e-newsletter. And then when you sign up for the e-newsletter, you can also get a copy of my self-care planning workbook called Self-Care Planning in 10 Steps, and that can give you a head start on your self-care plan. And the last thing you can do is sign up for a free 30-minute clarity call with me where I can explain to you what coaching is, what the benefits are, what we can do with our time, because you may be at that point where you really need to get this done. So you want to make that investment in having someone help you with this, because you just could be tired. You don't want to go through life like this anymore, and you just want it to change once and for all. And as we know, habits die hard. So we're going to start a whole new self-care life and some new habits. You might need some help, and I'm definitely here to help you, because my goal is that I don't want anybody else to go through what I went through. I want to help you either stop going down that path of illness, deprivation, low energy, stress, overwhelm, or I want to help you never get there. And so this is how I want to start to serve in my own life, by serving other people and making sure that everyone who wants to be a leader can be a leader, and they can do it well. So I will see you all next time on Self-Care Basics. Have a good week, and I'll see you online.